One of the most profound things I've learned in my life is that it's actually not about my hair at all. I've spent a lifetime trying to cover up who I am. And as much as I love a good external transformation, and I do, I much more love a heart transformation. Join me as I share how I work to heal my heart, find happiness, and embrace our hair. Hello, friends, and welcome back to my bi-weekly special called It's Not Your Business. And I thought this would be really fun considering that I love the entrepreneurial journey. And so many of you that are listening, perhaps you're curly stylist or hairstylist or people in the industry, or maybe you're just an entrepreneur. Maybe you're a budding entrepreneur. And I really love talking about these topics. And I thought it might be fun to have some mini segments that might just help you through your week if you are an entrepreneur. One thing that I know about the life of a leader or an entrepreneur is it can be lonely. Many times in my life in the salon industry, I've noticed that it's isolating. There's this desire to feel like you're keeping up and showing face, but all the while you're kind of scared, lonely, not sure who to talk to. It's a little bit hard when you're even, I would say, a leader or a manager, because I think those positions often leave us lonely because you really don't want to be friends with the people you work with, but you do at the same time. You want it to be personal, but not overly personal. Anyways, I'm going to be sharing 5 or 10 minute segments every other week with a business lens. This week, I think the most important thing I can share with you that I can think of is if you want longevity in any career or business, you must pivot. When I look back at my personal entrepreneurial journey, you might say I've been a hairdresser for nearly 30 years, which would be the truth. But you could also say, looking back at my entrepreneurial journey, that I have changed the way I have been a hairdresser multiple times. And in order to survive an industry in a world that's quickly changing, we have to be able to pivot. In the salon industry right now, there's so much fear and talk. But I want to encourage you, friends, that if you're in the salon industry and you're seeing things change, there's a couple of things that you can do. This isn't new. I've been a business owner for nearly 25 years. And I have had to change my business numerous times because the industry was changing. I remember when I first started, it was just my business partner, my best friend, and we had no business plan. We were 19, 20-year-old girls, and we just wanted freedom. Our salon had a space heater on the wall. It didn't even have regular heat. And we had a couple of nail tables we used as hair stations and extension cords everywhere, and that was the dream. And for us, it worked. And as we grew, the business plan grew, and as we became more entrepreneurial minded, it changed. And we went from just the two of us to 2 of us and 2 nail techs to 7 stylists and 4 nail techs to a massage therapist to at one time 15 chairs, 8 nail techs, 2 spa rooms. Anyways, my point is, also inside of that, we at one time were booth rent. Then we were a hybrid. Then we were commission. And every time we pivoted, it was because I saw something in the industry, or we saw something in the industry shifting. Back in the day, they used to teach you to have no compete contracts, and we did that. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. And so you hear these educators come out and they're telling you, if you've done this, and they try to shame you. Well, if you've been in the industry long enough, you will have done all the things that now the new and up and coming educator is saying not to do. So I'm going to be really careful that I tread lightly on what you should and shouldn't do, because I think it's all relative till you are in that position. For example, I said I would never let my kids fill in the blank, and I've probably let them do all those things. So as an entrepreneur, what I want you to most think of is have a little grace for yourself as you enter into a world of entrepreneurship. It's lonely. It's a little bit easier now to find information on how to do things, but with that influx of information comes confusion. And are you doing it right or wrong? And here's the thing. Yes, you are. At some point, you're going to do things wrong, and some point, you're going to do things right. My best advice to you is pivot. Apologize. Be ready to fail so that you can learn. Learn from your mistakes. And when you no longer can learn from your mistakes and you're in a bad mood all the time, get out. Don't overstay your welcome. I really think that the hardest part and the best part about entrepreneurship is that it's on you. You get to take the risks, so you get to take the credit, but you also take the fall. And if you're in this long enough, so again, inside of that, having been, at one time we were training assistants, like I said, and the model that was taught in that era was to train assistants, sign non-competes, don't let people work within a radius of so far. And we did that. We never followed through with any of those contracts. But we'd put those in place thinking that it was going to help protect us. But when people want to leave, do you want them to stay? That's a big question. And if you would have asked me early on in my journey of entrepreneurship, I would have said, heck yes, they owe me. Heck yes, they're staying. I've invested in them. They owe me. Now we own Salon Suites and we do a week-to-week lease because I've learned personally for me, and this isn't what's right for you. I think that I learned something else this weekend and I'll tell you about it. But I do a week-to-week because if you don't want to be there, I heard someone say once, it's like a cancer eroding at you when you let people stay in your culture, your environment, your atmosphere that don't want to be there. It eats away at the goodness of the other things that are there. With that being said, I heard a salon owner this week tell me the way they do it is they sign a contract, and this is very smart, that the investment that they're putting into that assistant, the education, is worth this much money. Now, this is a better contract than the non-compete that I had. And so if that stylist leaves before their 2 years is up, they have to pay back set amount of money. That's brilliant because we do have to protect as a business owner. And I think for the first part of my business owner journey, I wasn't very good at being a business owner. I led with my heart. And I think that that is good. But we also have to lead with a business mindset if you want to make it long-term in the business world. And if you don't have a business background, which is the other interesting thing about the salon industry, you guys, we have the most entrepreneurs, especially now that there's salon suites. There's so many entrepreneurs, but most stylists are pretty artistic, left brain thinking. We're not very analytical, very creative. And most of us don't have a college business background. So we go into it out of the passion of it. And usually we're givers. Hairdressers are givers. So it's really hard. It was very hard for me to be a boss babe entrepreneur that towed the line of both. And I think it can be both, which is, we had a salon manager one time that used to say the decisions that are being made need to be good for the business, good for the employee, and good for the salon owner. That was hard for me, but you know what? When all three of those things are true, then the business grows, the stylist grows, the salon owner wants to be there and continue leading a team. When only one of those is driving, and I see that a lot in the salon industry, is that the stylist is calling the shots and the salon owner feels victim to their team. When you are a strong leader, you lead a strong team. Okay, so that's this week's episode. Be willing to pivot, expect bumps in the road. You're not alone, and never say never, right? I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know. Share it with a salon professional, a stylist, an entrepreneur that's on their journey, or anyone who's thinking about it. Because you know what? I think the most important thing on this journey is that we know we're not alone. And remember, it's not your business. I guess this is where I ask you to subscribe to my channel, to follow me on social, and to listen wherever podcasts can be found. And join me every Tuesday at 2 as we unpack how to heal your hair, your heart, and your happiness.